Hey everyone, can y'all see and hear me? Give everyone a minute to get over there. Okay. I am going to try to figure out how to pin this to the top. Suzanne, if you know how to make this a pin at the top, I'd appreciate the help. Oh. Can we figure that out there? Mm-hmm. That do it? All right, if you want to come up and appear on camera, you can click that and you'll go into this. It did, Suzanne. Okay. All right. So I need to change what kind of moderator you are, huh? Okay, I'll do that later, I guess. Okay, my next question is how can I tell there's someone in the green room? Okay, we had several people say they had stories to share. Who's our first person that wants to come up and talk about it? If you're not comfortable with coming up on camera, then that's fine. I'll get a tone. Okay. So what did y'all think of that premiere? Adventures loads the cameras. Okay. So almost homesteading. If you don't mind all the typing, why don't you tell us your story and I'll read what you're typing so everyone can hear it, okay? So you thought it was amazing. Yeah. Or I'll actually I'll click on what you're saying and so we can react to that. Thank you, Beth. It was the first time I shared one of those experiences with any other living, breathing human. I had some really strange experiences prior to my mock seance that ended up being a real seance that I'll deal with and I can talk about it a little bit now, but I thought I'd make another video about it. Fixating on the electrical current interaction that you can have with people who have passed. Okay. I'm sorry. I have seasonal asthma, so I'll be doing a lot of coughing. I hope you don't mind. Okay. I definitely think you have a point about what we're open to and how different things close us down. Yes, we're taught that that we imagine these things, right? People say things to you like, "Oh, you've got quite the imagination." But there's too many of us that have had these experiences and we're afraid to share that we've had these experiences because of all the naysayers around us, the peer pressure to be modern humans instead of in touch with our other sides. So why do we suppress this? Because organized religion wants us to focus on whatever it's calling the deity that we're worshiping, and the people who are in charge of telling us about the deity, whether it's a priest or a rabbi or an imam or whatever, they kind of want control over what you believe, what you're permitted to believe, and how you need to interact with the world. So from the time we're very small, we're told this is our imagination. Correct me if I'm wrong. What do you think of that? So we suppress it, and it teaches us to doubt ourselves and doubt our own senses. Once you step beyond that, and eventually in this series of videos, I'll talk about my really intense near-death experience where I actually did die and flatlined, heart stopped, everything for almost 4 minutes, and I had quite the experience. But that's a story way down the line. I've got a bunch to share prior to that. So here we are learning to suppress this. But in my case, after my really intense death experience in 2003, it's taken me this long to be able to talk about it in a public forum like this, because it is intensely personal and people think you're nuts. And I might be nuts, but I promise you that this is all very real. Organized religion tells us that the portals we open can bring evil as well as good to us. Well, they can, but that doesn't mean you shut them. I think in discussing how to handle the situations, we can be in a little bit more control of how these interactions impact us. What do you think of that? Almost. Control is part of why they tell us it's imaginary. Exactly. Yet, in Christianity, in some forms of Christianity, are you not told to believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost? Ghosts. I didn't mean that to be my middle finger. So to be a good Christian, you should believe in ghosts, no? Think about that. So if it's part of the faith, then why would we say ghosts aren't real? I think that's a paradox. It's worth discussing. Number 5. What is number 5, Scratchmaster? Hey, Makeup Mama. But they teach you to close them to keep out the bad, kind of like they teach to avoid not religious people. Well, another aspect of that almost is, how do you define who's a religious person or not? There's a saying within Islam that it's not in turning your head from right to left, which is how you close your prayer in Islam, and you wish peace on your angels that are on your shoulders. So you have to believe in angels, right? Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. It's not in just praying and doing that ritual, but it's how you live your life. So prayer isn't as important as how you live your life. So, that's one way to look at that. I don't know, it's bullshit, but it's certainly a way to control. I think organized religion is a way to control the people who try to adhere to the religion. Beth, you can come up and just show your hands or put the phone down so we can hear you. How's that? Now, I'm not into technology, so it may take me a second to figure out how to get you actually up on the screen. You'll be my um, very first. So Adventures with Beth, yeah. We pray to the Holy Ghost or Holy Spirit, so it is biblical, right? Shabbat Shalom is a Christian Jew, which is that the same as Jews for Jesus? Um, and the demons and spirits are most definitely real. Hey, Mary. That's very, very true. So if someone has clicked the button and I'm not hearing anything, let me know. And oh, here we are. Okay. Oh, that's pretty. Beth, hey, welcome. So,
Yeah, I figured I'd just show the pretty things behind me.
that is
But that's my
gorgeous.
hand.
Are you a crafter? I'm a crafter.
Yeah, I am.
Cool. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yes, it is.
Hey, Bayou, welcome, welcome. So, um, Beth, right?
Yes.
What's your feedback? What would you like to share?
Um, I don't even know how to start. Um, I, I've always lived in haunted houses, and right now I'm living in a house that was built on a Civil War battleground. So
Okay,
if you
you
see
get a lot
anything
of
going on, you may see something going on behind me. I don't know. I can't guarantee it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
right. I think you have to be in a certain mindset to see things. And do you notice that when it's wet, when it's rainy outside or misty or foggy, that you tend to perceive another presence more strongly?
Yeah, and there's a reason for that.
Okay, share.
The water, the uh, the moisture, the water will carry the energy. It can kind of, what are the words I'm looking for?
I think
There's,
it allows us to perceive that things become more solid. Well, maybe because of all the moisture in the air, that you can
well,
actually see past the veil a little bit better.
oh yeah, that too. I mean, first off, you have to be open to it. You have to be open minded.
Right.
If you're gonna just if you're just gonna shut it all out, then you're not going to see anything. And those that are closed minded never will. I mean, they may have things happen, but they're going to say it's something logical.
So share with us one of your experiences. Is there something that stands out in your mind about what you're seeing and experiencing?
Um, my first encounter asked me why I did not question why this teenage girl was in my dining room, but I didn't. I walked over to her and we had a full conversation.
Wow.
Didn't know her. She told me her name, her story, and my daughter witnessed the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, I just stopped. The girl disappeared. And I looked over at my daughter and I said, was I just talking to a ghost? She says, you sure were.
So did your daughter see it too?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
She sees Renee as well.
Goosebumps. Anyone
She
else get goosebumps? Oh,
and her little brother is here also.
the ghost's little brother.
Yeah, her little brother. Yeah,
So what's
he's
her story?
William.
William, did what is What is their backstory? Were they killed during the war, or how did they die at
Um,
such a young age?
this land was part of a huge plantation,
Okay.
and her grandfather owned it. Their parents died when they were young, so they went to live with the grandfather. She fell in love with the stable boy, which was a no no, a big no no, actually. I'm in the South.
Okay, so it's a interracial type thing.
Yeah, yeah. And the she was out in the stables with the boy, and her grandfather caught them. I'm trying to figure out how to word this so it doesn't. I'm trying to be easy with my words.
I understand. Take your time.
Um, well, he took a pitchfork and ended their lives because of it.
Oh my God.
I'm, yeah. I mean, she was more graphic with it, and I don't want to do that
Right.
because it had me in tears.
I was going to say, did you cry with her?
Oh, yeah, I sure did. How her little brother died, I don't know. She just wanted to tell her story.
Right. Have you had the opportunity to interact with her again?
Yeah. Um, we even made a Christmas ornament that's all hers together. So
That's nice. So is it happier interaction now that you know what happened to her, or does she feel a need to keep sharing the same details?
no, it's different. I mean, she knows I understand now, and she looks at me like her mother.
Oh, that's so nice.
So yeah, it's reassuring that I had a positive impact.
So you comforted her. That's nice. So what would you say to people who are listening to you right now? Should they fear these interactions, or how does
I,
this make you feel?
yeah, I have never feared it, but like I said, I have always lived in haunted houses. I mean, even as a newborn, that my whole 62 years I've lived in haunted houses.
Well, when you look at it, no matter where we are on the planet, someone else has been here before.
Right.
So the
Um,
potential of interaction is
pretty darn good. Yeah.
pretty darn good if you haven't totally shut down that part of your brain or so suppressed your ability that you just don't perceive it.
Right. Right.
Fruit flies. um, so that's an interesting interaction. So you live on an old battlefield, so I'm sure you get some
Yeah.
anger too.
Um, I have not run into angry. No,
Good.
I have run I have run into lost because they don't know they've passed, and you have to really be careful about how you say things around them.
Yeah. So you've had some people who didn't realize that they're another form of energy.
Right. I have one soldier out in the backyard that refuses to believe it. He just flatly refuses because he needs to get his penny to get back to his love. So he just paces back and forth along the back of the property looking for his penny.
That's
I
sad.
tr- I know. I have tried many ways to tell him, you know, he doesn't need the penny to go see her if he would just accept, but he feels like he can't go back to her without even a penny on him.
Have
I've
you tried?
even tried to.
I
I've
was
tried to find the penny. I can't find it.
gonna say try putting some money down, even though he may not be able to
N-
touch it.
Nah, he
No,
knows the difference. He knows his penny because in the Civil War they would put a hole in a penny, put it on a string, and tie it around their neck,
right.
and that way they always had money for when they came across a town. They'd have money to buy a drink or whatever.
Mm. So
So
we brought chat to a stop here. Everyone is listening intently, I think. Um, let's see. I think if you are in fear, it needs to be turned away. Turning spirits away is harder than uh,
yeah,
yeah. If they're there, they're there. Making peace with them is another skill. I hope to be able, because this is a very young channel. You understand? You were my very first guest
right.
up channel, so I'm still trying to figure out the software, right?
Oh,
But
I figured that out quickly.
um, excuse me. I hope to eventually have panel guests that are experts in some of this and the paranormal,
Yeah,
psychology doctors.
there, there's no experts. We're still learning.
Well, there's some people who dedicate their life to tuning in and
Well,
helping us
true.
in. And maybe some can give advice on how to do that, how to develop the skills. A topic of another video, I'm going to talk about my friends. I work for a newspaper, and some other reporters were joking with me because I actually wrote something about this, and they're all, doing the ooh thing at me, and I said, it's real. So they all said, well, let's all go get our palms read, right? Go to a psychic, and this is South Florida, and there are a lot of psychics in Florida. So we went, and I'm going to talk about this in another video where I totally freaked out the psychic. And I actually turned it around and told her something about herself that she totally freaked out about. So that's the subject of
Yeah,
another. But
I, I, I do that all the time.
yeah, so what is it about you and I that allow us to accept this and to try to deal with it? That and people in chat jump in, please. Um, that allows you and I to have this conversation non-judgmental and you know being in awe. I'm in awe of you and your experiences and feel very comfortable with you. So what allows us to have this interaction where other people would run from the room with their fingers in their ears going, no, 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 no. So what's the difference?
Okay, I can only speak for myself.
Right.
Um, my father was a pastor,
Okay.
but he was not opposed to the paranormal at all. Um, and my mother, on the other hand, would have had me locked up, but but he knew I I was aware of things because he was as well, and he didn't talk down to me about it. He would acknowledge it. One day, my
Did I lose
my little sister, was in her room talking
you?
to seemingly nobody. I heard her chattering away, and I just ignored it because that was normal. Anyway, she went in and asked her who she was talking to. Says, I'm talking to Honey. She says, who's Honey? The little girl sitting over there. She plays with me all the time. Well, my mother was like, you're imagining things, but it's okay to have imaginary friends. My sister says, No, Mommy. She's sitting right there. Well, my father must have overheard it because he came down the hall and he said to her, "What did you say her name is again?" "It's Honey." And he looked at my mother. He says, "That's the same," and I'm doing air quotes, "imaginary friend I had as a child."
Wow. Very
Yeah,
interesting. So the spirit's been in the family for a while.
yeah.
That's incredible. I would like to give, don't go anywhere, but I would like to give other people a chance to pop up. I can have
Oh, yeah.
several people on the screen at the same time. So if, let's see, we've got um, Scratchmaster says he sees something. Shalom says she saw something. I'm assuming Shalom's a woman. Shabbat Shalom. So are you still here, Shabbat? Would you like to come up and share with us? I don't know how to
Uh,
check. Shabbat has left us. Um, Shabbat's here. Shabbat, would you like to come up? Just hit that link at the top of the screen, and I'll let you up, and we can talk about your experiences.
Someone's playing with their StreamYard.
I'm trying to see. Do I need to set it so I can have more than one? See, this one
Oh,
goes this.
no.
I kind of
It,
like that.
yeah, yeah, you can set up the way it shows.
I think Shabbat said she had to work tonight. Oh yeah, in 15 minutes, so they're probably scooted out on us. Um, so who else? Who else would like to come up? And Beth, thank you for being the first. You kind of, pop that fear bubble. I think, hopefully.
Oh, well, yeah, that's some of the reason I came up because I knew you were new to this.
Yeah. And how about Marketplace? Would you like to come up and talk? Scratchmaster, come on up. Don't be shy.
I don't know if Scratch and Pete's still out there, but I know he's not new to being on a panel.
Oh, let's see. Makeup Mama and Son interviewed a paranormal group. We'd like to hear about that. I think.
Yeah, I do investigations.
Do you? So tell us about that.
Um, I don't know what to say.
How do you do an investigation?
Well, first, the majority of the time, if it's not at home, because I don't have to do that at home, I will bring an offering of food, water, tobacco, and ask permission to be there. If it's a cemetery, I don't, unless it's a totally old cemetery, like Lost in the Woods, then I do that. Um, it's just respect.
What was the name of the group that was so popular on TV for a while that went in to do the ghost um, tracking
Oh Lord,
devices? Do you remember those people?
Ghost Adventures.
No.
No, oh good, because I don't want to talk about them.
It was a whole society of it, like a club. They went around the country, maybe even the world, to check out ghost story places. Ghostbusters was the movie. Anyway, I have a friend who's a Muslim American, and she's interesting. She's raised in the deep South, white woman, and converted, and but ghosts are very much a part of Islam, and the the ghosts that'll play jokes on you are called jinn, and
Right.
that's where we get the English word genie from jinn, living in a bottle. Um, but She was in the paranormal normal and a member of this society. She was very interesting. I'll see if I can figure out where she's gotten off to. She lives in North Carolina.
I do too.
Yeah, but she's from the Panhandle in Florida originally. Um, Very interesting to hear her speak. I'll have to look her up. Shabbat is driving to work. Drive carefully, don't wreck. Ghost
Oh.
hunters. There you go. Paranormal something or another. That's that's funny. So Scratchmaster
that,
must be hiding under a chair or something.
that narrows it down to about 400.
uh, North Carolina has all the coolest things. North Carolina has a lot of history of oodles of people dying too, and
Yeah.
large groups. So you know, spirits or people who have passed, they don't just live in cemeteries. In fact, uh, my feeling is once you're buried, you know, that's a part of you you're not necessarily attached to anymore.
Well,
That you enter an energy field, and
right.
you can go where you feel like you need to go. Although some people seem to be tied, like with Beth, are tied to a certain spot. Maybe that's the spot they died in, and they
Yeah.
can't find a way out. And so this is why I want to attract someone in who's used to dealing with these things, to maybe talk about if you have an entity that is stuck where you are, is there a way to help them to move on to the next? Because I think a lot of times the feeling I get from the apparitions, if you will, is they're asking for help. So in this story that I shared with you tonight, with the grandmother handing me the Afghan, or is make sure that Kathy gets this right. I mean,
Yeah.
I really, I really felt that she was reaching out to make sure that her message was received, that she loved Kathy, that she had made this for her, and that things are going to be okay. Um, but that I freaked that poor little girl out, which freaked me out, which freaked the mothers out. My mother told me I needed my head examined, you know, but how did it
Uh,
happen? You know, if it wasn't real, how did that come to me, and why did it come to me? Do you have any feelings on that?
I don't know. Let me just answer that question. I have not been to New Bern. I've never been over towards the. I live near Raleigh. I've never been towards the shore. Um, I think that when we're open, like we are, that spirits come to us knowing that we are going to see, hear them, whatever, and pass on the message. We're a link to the living.
I also, by the way, I'm also an empath. I think you have to be an empath to be able to tune into these things intensely, like Beth and I have. Um,
Yeah.
how did things go after? Did your friend ever really hear you out about you really seeing your grandma? Well, her mother, I think, had a lot to do with creating distance between us after this happened. But Kathy and I, we rode the school bus together every day to and from school. Um, and Scratchmaster's about to come up. So our friendship didn't end, and we did move from the suburbs of Boston to Charlotte, North Carolina in 1973 when I was 13 years old. And I kind of lost track of Kathy, as that does, you know, with childhood friends. But we were pretty close. After all, we're the only two females in the neighborhood. And it was a bunch of boys, like 5 or 6 boys, that that were around my age within a year, older and younger, and the same age. So I really grew up a tomboy. But Kathy and I kind of distanced, kind of sort of kept in touch until our early 20s. And I think she moved to Texas, got married and moved to Texas. And I don't know what happened to her after that. Um, But okay, here he comes. Hey, Scratchmaster, are you here?
Hi.
We see you.
Hi.
Hey there.
I know why I connected to you so quickly.
Maybe
I'm from Pittsfield. I'm from Massachusetts as well.
I'm from a little town called Sudbury.
Oh yeah, and my other half is from Oh yeah, I just had it.
I think we're empaths, so we're connecting on this story anyway. So, Scratchmaster,
Oh yeah.
welcome. Can we call you anything other than Mr. Scratchy? Okay. Share. What's your story?
I'm not sure he's hearing us.
Follow me around everywhere I'm going.
Okay.
And they're like haunting me.
I'm sorry, you're female. So, are we having technical difficulties, or can you hear us?
Yeah.
So, tell us your story.
They think I'm on my computer every 24/7, which I'm not. Like they like a broken record. Like repeating the same stuff every second.
Okay, I'm not understanding what you're saying because of some background noise. Is there any way?
Those are the voices that keep on following around with where I'm going.
Oh,
They're like yelling.
so they kind of harass you?
Yeah.
This is scary. Empaths unite. Okay, so it's really hard to understand. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
I almost got walked up in facility last year.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time um, understanding you, and I think other people are too.
Yeah, your voice is very low.
I'm going to take you down and let you type because we can hear you typing better than we can hear your voice. Does that make sense? Nothing personal, but we want to hear what you have to say. So, can you type it for us? I hate to do that.
I know. I feel bad too.
So, Scratchmaster, we'll be waiting to see what you say, and I'll highlight it, and we can talk about it. So, Makeup Mama is cooking and not offering us any food here. Um, I got the munchie. The only thing I have on my desk to eat is hot mustard from the Chinese restaurant. I don't think I'll be sucking that. If you're wondering why I've got gloves on, um, I was separating hot pepper seeds earlier today with my bare hands. On my home
Oh
channel, they call me Hot Pepper Chick because I have 120 different varieties of peppers, and I'm doing a lot of seed saving from year to year. And I was separating those today, and I got so much oil on my fingers that without the gloves on, I'm choking.
yeah.
And then I scratched my eye and I couldn't see, so that's for my protection. Okay, now you know more about me. But yeah, we're all excited to see what you have to say, Scratchy. Um, Praying can help. In what way can praying help? And what are we helping? Yeah, woohoo pepper seeds. Yeah. If you remember my other channel, I'm going to talk about that and maybe send some out in for people who want to get on the wheel and win giveaways. Okay, so they're saying repetitive phrases to me every 24/7 hours. Yeah, my fingers are stinging. So what types of things are they saying, Scratchmaster?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
So we're going to wrap this up at an hour. So we've got about 20 more minutes to talk. Shared out. Very good. Thank you very much. Don't forget the thumbs up. It evidently helps with the algorithm. And I think once we grow the channel a little bit, more experts will be willing to come up and be part of the panel and answer questions. That's my vision anyway. So while we're waiting for Scratchmaster to tell us more, okay. Only seen anything once, and that was a person coming to me in a dream after they died, but before I knew they had died. So tell us about that, and you're going to get another chance to talk about this when I do the video on what happened to me while I was sleeping. A couple of different things. I can't tell it all at once, and we won't have any content for the channel, right?
Right.
They keep taking turns. They keep, they're tormenting you. Are they? So do you feel like you're cuckoo, or do you feel like this is real? What do you think about what they're saying to you, Scratchy? I'm sorry.
I can identify a little bit with that, only a little, because I have a haunted mirror.
Okay, do tell.
And I knew right from the start that the entity was not nice. And whatever was in there, it wouldn't let me sleep, just kept yelling my name. But yeah, I had that taken care of. The mirror has now been salted, blessed, and I made 3 iron crosses to put on the mantle in front of the mirror. It stopped.
This is one reason I love Suzanne. Suzanne's been with me for a couple of years over on the other channel, a very loyal contributor and attendant of my live broadcast, but she's so compassionate. I had to share a little bit of her compassion with everyone in case they didn't see what she said. So thank you, Suzanne. Yeah. Marketplace, I'd like to discuss with you how you see prayer. And I'm going to tie this into one of those 10 points that I did at the beginning of the premiere. So how do you see prayer and its power? Okay.
Yeah, not everyone believes in prayer. So.
Right. Not everyone in here is buying what we're saying. And we're not really trying to convert you all.
No, that's okay.
But make you say, And if you feel anything in the future, feel free to say, I really don't believe in this, but this did happen or it didn't happen. But I really would like to see what Marketplace has to say about prayer. And I know you're cooking. Was it you that were cooking? I don't remember. Okay, she says, prayer for me is loving and positive. Hello, Big, from India. Namaste. Is it namaste or salam alaikum or? I want to hear about what's being cooked. I asked and I haven't had a reply.
Yeah, I want to know too.
I got a bowl of popcorn. The other voice keeps telling me to be something else that I'm unable to see, unable to be. That's interesting. Would you like to elaborate on that? You
Yeah,
got the
what is it telling you to be?
I'm fine, Big. How are you? And welcome. I have I have quite a few friends from India and over in India. I both professional contacts and personal contacts and friends, and I do a lot of cooking from India. I grow a lot of Indian vegetables, and this year my pepper collection. If you go over to my other channel, you'll hear me talk about. I'm focusing on peppers of India. But we
I get heartburn just hearing about peppers.
mix up ginger and garlic with it. You won't get your heartburn. Yeah,
Oh,
almost homesteading garlic popcorn. Yeah, right. I can show you what almost homesteading said. Actually, I there's a spice from India called garam masala that I sometimes will sprinkle on my popcorn. Big Big made me going garam masala, really? Yeah, it's good on popcorn. Namaste. Big, can you tell us what namaste means? I think people will get a kick out of it. 8:30 a.m. Have your tea. Okay, so I am going to back up a little bit. So, Beth, what does prayer mean to you? What is prayer to you?
it's talking to my Lord and Savior.
Okay.
Just like I would anyone else, really.
Do you find that you go into? Do you remember when I was talking about the alpha state of mind, in the 10 points going into my premiere of what a medium is or what happens?
Yeah.
Um, those of us who meditate, like maybe Big can tell us because it's a big part of the Hindu religion. Chanting is a big part.
Right.
Prayer is the Christian and Islamic version of the same concept, where you kind of lower your guard in your head so that you're tuned in, and it's kind of an even vibe, if you will, and where you feel the presence of the Creator. Are you tuning into that at all, Beth? Have you ever felt that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So that's the alpha state of your brain, and the different religions and different cultures experience and connect with it through different methods. But some of us call it prayer, some meditation, chanting.
Well, I meditate as well.
Right. So you meditate and you go into that space. It takes a little practice to get into it. But this is when you can really connect with people who have passed and really have that energy transfer. Don't you find that to be true?
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay. The Scratchmaster is saying I ignore it, but it's still bothering you, though.
yeah, it's really. We got to think of a way to help Scratchy.
Yeah.
Scratchy, have you tried meditating at all, or do you kind of try to tune it out and run from it? Because if it's hostile to you, maybe that's the fun it's having with you, is causing the fear and causing you to tense up. What do you think, Beth?
Yeah. There are definitely entities out there that will thrive on the negative.
Just like we have people in real life that are bullies.
Oh, yeah. And I totally believe that if someone is a bully in life, they're going to be a bully in death too.
Probably.
I don't think personalities change.
Yeah, I had a really bad relationship with my grandmother, um, my maternal grandmother, who was very abusive, and um, to the point that she was always on me when I was at home. Okay, just tormenting me. And my husband and I, and this should be another video, and I'll probably tell the story then as well. But we were at a horsemanship banquet. I was showing horses, and we were in Montgomery, Alabama. Okay. And my grandmother lived in Charlotte, North Carolina with my mom. And we're eating along, and all of a sudden, this total feeling of peace and comfort just washed over me. And it was like a whole part of my psyche just relaxed. It was like a relief, kind of like passing, poop in then after you've been holding it so long. If you like. That analogy, but that's something just about everyone can relate to, right? And I turned and I looked at my husband. I said, Grandma just died. I just so relieved that she's gone.
Yep.
And this is long before cell phones and whatever. And we had one little rotary phone at our house. We lived in Opelika, Alabama. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Opelika. It was about an hour east of Montgomery. And when we got home, the phone was ringing. It was my mom. And she said, I have some bad news. Grandma just passed. And I tried not to go, yeah. But, I said, gee, I'm sorry, Mom. But I'll never forget that feeling of relief. But there's more to that story that I'm not telling you until I do the video. So, yeah, you can be bullied, and there can be negativity in your life. And
it was the death of my great grandfather that it was the first thing paranormal I remember in my life. I was around 8 years old. And I was sleeping, and in my family, the adults didn't talk about adult stuff around the kids. So if someone was sick or whatever, that wasn't talked about in front of us. We were told to go outside and play, go in another room, whatever, because that was adult conversation. So I had no idea that my great grandfather was ill. In the dream, he came to me, and I watched him die. When I woke up, I knew the phone was going to ring. I also knew it was going to be my grandmother.
Okay, this is back to one of the other points I made, remember? With knowing the phone ring and you're feeling it coming. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. And when my mother answered it, I wasn't surprised. It was my grandmother, And she's like, yeah, okay, I'll tell David when he gets home from work. And I'm thinking, yeah, Grandpa Gaines died. I'm glad she's going to tell him, because I don't want to tell him that his grandfather died. I knew what the conversation was. And she told him when he got home. I was actually listening for him to get home because I just knew what she was going to say. And I never spoke up about what happened to me because I couldn't imagine what the punishment would be for killing my great grandfather.
Oh no, you didn't kill him.
Because, well, I was so young, and that's how I saw it. But I now realize he came to me to let me know because I was close to him. I got a personal visitation from him.
Did he comfort you, or was it an alert or an alarm? Or, with me, I told you I felt incredible relief.
I felt he was preparing me. for it. As I got older, I realized,
It was kind of like
no, I didn't kill him. You know?
an FYI moment, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And I think to say goodbye.
Okay, makeup mama is getting her son ready for bed and she'll be back. Okay, marketplace. Yes, very good advice. Do things that make you happy. Enjoy nature. You know, it's a big thing right now there that we people here in the West are calling forest bathing. But people of Eastern religions and experiences will tell you going barefoot into the woods or walking barefoot on the earth does connect you to the cycle of life. And I really hope that Big will speak up and say more than hello. And I'm going to assume, correct me if I'm wrong, that you're from the Hindu tradition. That and my understanding of Hinduism is this: all this is full cycle, and all this is normal for you. But here in the West, we're taught to suppress all of this. So, Big, if you're still with us, can you share with us a Hindu perspective on the what happens when you pass? And in Hinduism, are you embracing uh, experiences such as the ones we're talking about, or are you as well taught to suppress these types of things? So I'm going to go over to YouTube and see if Big is still with us.
What you're talking about, I call grounding.
Yes.
And when you are open to the paranormal, that is so important to do.
Right.
It's very important to ground yourself, get in touch with nature, in your surroundings, and it, there, it even has a healing property to it.
So almost homesteading is, how do you do grounding? I'll tell you
Oh,
how I do it, but I want to hear from Beth.
you just take off your shoes, go out barefoot, go outside on the ground, not on pavement or anything. Go out on the grass, in the dirt, whatever, as long as it's the earth. And just,
Feel.
I pretty much meditate. I'm connecting to the earth.
You could do it in your backyard, even if there's a lot of road noise and neighbor noise.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
You can let go of the negative.
just breathe. Sit very straight.
Yeah,
Breathe deep. Clear your mind. Wiggle your toes in the dirt or in the grass. Concentrate on the sensation that you're feeling, your sensories. Um, you're essentially removing all these artificial barriers that we put around ourselves to make us more lonely, really. I mean, clothing, whatever. I'm not advocating going out naked and burning your tent, but when you take off your shoes, you're taking off a protective layer and making yourself a
right.
little vulnerable, right? You feel a little bit more vulnerable in your bare feet outside.
Especially with red ants on the ground. Yeah.
Fire ants, yes. Yeah, don't sit in a mountain. Don't push it and sit in a mountain of fire ants. That's not a good idea.
No.
Coming on here using four-letter words and get me in trouble with YouTube. But when I was a child growing up in Sudbury, Massachusetts, I lived on the side of Knobscot Mountain. I don't know if you've heard of Knobscot Mountain,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's a Boy Scout reserve, so it's no development on my side of the mountain.
Oh yeah. My other half is from Saugus.
Oh, okay, cool. But there was a cliff behind my house that had a stream that ran by it and an old broken down cabin on it. And I would go, not knowing what I was doing, this is the 60s, you know, everyone's a hippie, right? Taking off my shoes and sitting there. There was moss on the rock on the top of the hill, and I'd kind of wiggle my feet and toes through the moss.
Yeah.
sit there really quiet. And I found that if I was quiet, the birds would come out. I've had snakes crawl across my lap. Deer would come just like right there, bunnies, whatever else, and just sit there and feel the breeze on my skin and listen to the bugs.
Yeah.
And you come away from that, even as a child, so refreshed and so tuned in. As an adult, I'll do it in the backyard here. I do a lot of gardening. And it kind of keeps you connected, almost homesteading. And try it. Try it and get back to us. Does it change your perception of the world around you? Um, if you have time to sit, even I sit with my chickens, okay? And they all come gather around me and sit on my feet and sit on my lap and sometimes on my head. And you just sit and enjoy the sensations. It's a very healing experience. And Scratchy, if you have a chance to get out and do that, of course, right now you may be surrounded by snow, but even in the snow, go sit, take a cup of herbal tea, and just breathe. Take a moment to be still. Uh,
Even if it's only 5 minutes,
yeah,
you'll notice a difference.
yeah, there will be a difference in your perception and your happiness, and your connectiveness and your ability to handle stress. Okay, where are you almost homesteading? What part of the world do you live in? Feel connected to your ancestors in the woods. It's probably because you don't have all the distracting noises that you may have closer to people.
You're in
That's
Indiana. Okay.
Indiana. Yeah. Um, well, be thankful you don't have fire ants. I'm going to tell you a story. It's nothing to do with the supernatural.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I already mentioned I was from New England and we moved to Charlotte in the 70s, and there were no fire ants in Charlotte. Then when I went to Auburn University in Alabama and met a young man who is now my husband of 43 years, he took me fishing because right away he knew I was an outdoor kind of girl. I had horses and I was into all the outdoorsy things. So he took me fishing, and I had a pair of overalls on and had hooked into, I think in the South they call them crappies.
Oh, yep.
And I'm reeling and I'm reeling and I'm walking along the bank of the pond and not paying attention to where I was stepping, and I stopped,
Oh.
and he's on the other side of the pond and he's yelling at me, "Get out of the ants! Get out!" I'm like, "What?"
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, all up inside those overalls. And what, if y'all not familiar with fire ants, is they will swarm your body, and then all at once the one will set out a pheromone and tell everyone bite,
Yep.
and they all
And,
bite at the same time.
and they keep biting.
And it's like being touched with lit cigarettes.
Yeah.
Okay. So your friend Lisa here got naked in a hurry and jumped into the pond, and he still married me. But fire
He
ants,
felt bad for you.
I'll take pity on this chick and take her home. Um, I had scars everywhere that those things bit me, but we digress.
Oh yeah.
It's not a spiritual experience whatsoever. So, almost homesteading says,
Yeah, literal ants in your pants. Yeah.
literal ants and other places. So we won't. Oh my goodness. Okay,
Yeah.
but it was like I ran a fever with it, and they'll kill you. They can kill you. So it's
Oh
really
yeah.
no laughing matter. But you'll learn real quick if you're in the deep south. I think fire ants have made it to North Carolina by now. Have they, Beth?
Uh, yeah. And they only go after me.
Um, you must be sweet.
I don't know. I asked a doctor why a mosquito could be in a house full of people and only find me. And he said, there's something in my chemical makeup that attracts insects. I'm like, yay.
Yeah, I attract ticks and fleas, whereas those two animals don't bother my husband. But he gets eaten up by mosquitoes. Mosquitoes will bite me, but very rarely. Body chemistry, I would say. Okay, so almost homesteading is saying my ancestors hunted and foraged and were very connected to the land, which leads me to ask what tribe. My husband
Right,
has actually has very strong Native American heritage from North Alabama, so they were very very much into the old ways. But I would also argue that all of our ancestors hunted and foraged at some point. It's just some of us are more distant
right.
modern people, which I don't think is as good as the old ways, but that's just my bias. Uh,
Yeah, my immediate thought was, I wonder what tribe.
so if you
Because
want to share this, what people,
I'm part Iroquois, so I get it.
Iroquois is a big nation.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
my family came over literally at Plymouth Rock, and were the first to exploit the natives. So I'm not very proud of that, but I do have an appreciation for the natives and married one, and a lot of shame for what my people have done or are doing. Anyway, we won't go there either. My grandma made all kinds of herbal medicine she learned from a tribe that lived near her. That's very nice that they shared their medicine with you. That's unusual. Uh, a lot of the First Nation people don't share with non
Okay.
First Nation people.
If she was found on the Trail of Tears, that tells me Cherokee.
Cherokee or Creek or something from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, my willingness to hike in North Carolina just lowered. Why?
It's not all over North Carolina.
No, but what you probably need to Google fire ant mound. It's they build kind of a mound up on the top of the soil that's kind of
Uh
how would
huh.
you call it, not oatmeal-y, but crumbly looking.
The land where I am is sand. They love that.
Yeah, but it's a very distinctive mound. It's not a hole in the ground, but
Right.
a mound. And then you take a stick and poke it with your stick, but stand back and drop the stick and watch how those things will swarm.
Yeah, they get a hold of me and I swell and blister and it's just horrid.
It can kill you. It's like bee stings.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's really sad. Yeah. Each group of people, I don't like to call them tribes, but each family or nation has their own lore, the way of living, and then they have a lot of overlap. Um, so here in Georgia, where we live right now, is actually we live on what was the border between the Creek people and the Cherokee, and the two nations had a war, and were always fighting with each other. And then I think they settled their differences, territorial differences, with a game of what we call lacrosse.
Yeah.
And, whoever lost had to pull out of the area, and I think it's the Cherokee that lost that battle. So the Stone Mountain, Georgia area was, I think, heavily Creek. So
My middle son played lacrosse and his last name was Lacrosse. It was kind of ironic.
the French occupiers,
Yeah.
Iroquois. Yeah, do you know is the French that gave the Iroquois the idea of scalping? Well, again, we're off the paranormal. Um, I should probably tell you I'm a retired journalist and I wrote about culture and religion, so that's why I've got a background in little factoids.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I could talk about all sorts of stuff, but Almost Homesteading would like to find out more about Native ancestry and connect. What you may want to also look into is the spirituality, and to bring this full circle to what we're supposed to be talking about, which is uh, experiences with actually getting messages from beyond, like I got during my seance, um, and look at what the some of the beliefs of the tribes are. I'm not going to say were because they're living people, um, and connect with it. If you've already learn how to center yourself by going into nature barefoot, like Beth and I were talking about, and look into it and learn. My best advice, if you want to experience these type of things and learn how to shut out the modern world, is to learn how to connect with nature and to go into this alpha state, um, and and just feel the vibe. Wouldn't you say that'd be a good way to describe it? Feeling the vibe, Beth?
Yeah, there's a definite vibe. It's you actually, if you pay attention, you feel a vibration in your body.
Um, I'm looking for a book.
Um,
She's talking about Native American spirituality, and then I'm going to sign off for the night. But let me see if I can find this. Um, I want to say it's called Hypothesis Storm.
and
And
I wish I knew more about my heritage in that area too. But the orphanage that my grandfather was adopted from burned down with the records.
ah,
I just know it's Iroquois.
Iroquois. Iroquois is
That's it.
nation. My husband just walked into the room, and he's more into Charlie. What are some of the tribes of the Iroquois? The Confederation.
Uh, well, there was originally 7 of them.
Yeah.
We're down to 6 now.
Um, like, oh, Michigan down to really.
I don't know if you can hear him. Turn around and talk so we can hear you, baby.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's taking. I'm finding books on Native American herbalism real quick. Say something, Beth. Don't leave it to me.
um, hmm. I don't know. I could probably be narrowed down a little bit more since the orphanage was in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
in St. Stephen, or, well, New Brunswick, near St. Stephen. I know the story, how he ended up there. Um, it was a Canadian man in the military and a native. She got pregnant, and that was a huge no-no, and out of wedlock. Plus, you just didn't mingle like that.
Mm.
And that's how he ended up there. She had to give him up because he wasn't accepted by the mother or the father's side.
Yeah, we really messed up. We being the Europeans really messed up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
But if he wasn't adopted, I wouldn't have been here.
well, this is a good thing. It's really good to meet you.
You too.
Okay, I can't find the book I'm talking about. And of course, once we go off the air, and I'm going to be on a mission now trying to find out which of the many bookshelves in my house has it. But it has a dream catcher on the lid on the front of it, and it talks about 4 different ways of thinking, and the Native American.
Oh, that sounds so familiar.
Yeah, but so look, almost homesteading. Look for shamanism, the Red Road Path. What else is good? She wants to learn about her heritage, honey, belief system.
For purgatory?
No, this is another chatter.
If you know a shaman, that's even better.
Now,
And I happen to know a few shamans, so
yeah, Scratchmaster, gambling is not a native thing. It's their revenge on us. That's good.
yeah, it is.
Oh, Charlie's pulling books, his books. But I would love to get a shaman on this channel talking about communicating with the spirits and making that connection. Wouldn't that be interesting? Would you say we're a little bit into this subject here?
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little. He's been
I know someone that she's studying as well. I wonder if it's the same person.
I want to get him on to talk about battling his demons when we talk about dreaming, the dreaming section. And did you hear him say, hmm?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want you to share that story if I can coerce you into it, because it'll be something that I think people will tune into and do the head scratch thing over.
Oh my goodness, it may be the same person. Is her channel name Misty Mountain 1967?
Say that again?
Misty Mountain 1967. Is that who you're talking about?
Steam Mountain? No.
No, I'm asking almost homesteading.
Oh, okay.
Because I know Susan.
Cool. So, I'm going to do these premieres followed by a chat like this once a month. The last Thursday of each month at 9 o'clock, so I'll start the premiere. And I'm hoping that everyone will be back, plus some. Please share my videos out, share this one out, because this is the type of discussion that people may not want to show their name in the chat, but will want to listen to, and maybe after a while be comfortable enough to come participate. Now, Beth, was it scary?
Oh, no.
Okay. So Beth, see, I didn't bite her.
No, just a little nibble, and it was okay.
Okay. I hope to see you again, Beth, as we explore these things. And I've got a lot of stories to share. So, what is your impression of our first premiere with the live chat afterwards? Does this work? A good format?
Oh, yeah. A lot of YouTubers do that. And as a follow-up, it works great because you get the premiere and then you get to talk about it.
Right. So I hope everyone feels the same. I have a YouTube window up as well as a StreamYard. So I go to YouTube and we're down to 6 people. We had up to 17 at one point. Only 1 thumbs up. What's up, y'all? Thumbs up. Come on. I'm going to refresh.
Wow. And I do that even before I say anything in the chat.
Hand up, but let's get more. But feedback is welcome. Feel free to leave comments. And of course, this will convert into being able to leave a comment under and ask questions. If you're coming in and catching this and saying, I'm into the paranormal, or I'm a psychic, or whatever, and you would like to be a guest, please say so, and I'll contact you. If you know someone, Beth, if you know someone who would like to come up and talk about clairvoyance or whatever, as a focus.
I know a lot of people.
All right. I think I put my email on my about page, but let me type it into the chat. And And feel free to share my email address so people can reach out to me if they want to be a guest or a focal guest or even suggest a topic.
I even, for the better part of 2 years, I had a psychic medium living here.
Okay. Did that come
And
across?
I have someone in the paranormal community keeps telling everyone I'm a psychic medium. I keep telling them, stop it, Nate.
So Beth, if you would reach out to me through email, let's be friends and let's
Okay.
talk there. And I'd be much obliged, as they say here in the South, right? And I hope to see everybody next month, right here. And I died near-death experience. So thank you everyone for coming, and Beth, thank you for being brave and popping up on the panel. So take care, everyone, and remember, what you can see physically is not necessarily all that there is. See ya.
Much love, everyone.